Lonely Monk Productions.
Hey gang, Nate here. Real quick before we start the episode. If you are in the greater Philadelphia area, this Sunday, July 31st, from 4 to 7, I will be performing out on the patio at Tex-Mex Connection with my good buddy Scott Miller, Season 1 guest. We're going to be doing some acoustic treats. It'll also be live streamed on the Facebook page, facebook.com/yo that's my Jawn. So, Sunday, if you're looking for something to do, from 4 to 7, check us out. Tex-Mex Connection, North Wales, Pennsylvania. Hope to see you there. If not, jump in on the live stream, say hi, and maybe we'll play a song for you. All right, that's out of the way. Let's start the show. I don't know if y'all have heard We Need to Talk About It by Ben Harper yet, but yo.
That's my Jawn! That's my Jawn! Hey yo, displace the guilt and...
What's good, friends and family, neighbors near and far? Welcome to an all-new episode of the Yo That's My Jawn podcast. The podcast, website, brand, movement, way of life dedicated to the embrace and championing of your passions. I am your host, Nate Runkle, a.k.a. the guy who loudly proclaims, have you people never seen a Marvel movie before? When people start to leave the theater, when the credits start to roll, a.k.a. Nate 3.0, back at it again with yet another episode of the podcast. As always, I hope this podcast finds you all in good health and in good spirits. Big episode today. I am joined by the boys from Phantasm to talk about their new album Shadow Work, which was just released this past Friday. It is a fantastic chat about how they got together and so much more. And it's a supersized one, so I want to get right to it. But real quick, if you have not yet signed up for the newsletter/mailing list thingy, make sure you do that immediately by visiting www.yothat'smyjawn.com. Drop your email address in there and prepare yourself for fun updates and links and behind-the-scenes info delivered directly to your inbox. And of course, you can follow us on all of the socials at Yo That's My Jawn. Drop us a note, say hi. This show belongs to y'all as much as it belongs to me, so feel free to take part in it. Okay, a real quick ad break, and then my interview with Phantasm. My guests today are a Philly-based heavy alt-rock band who weave their avant-garde stylings into intricate melodic songs that call to mind the likes of Muse, Incubus, and Faith No More, just to name a few. Their latest album, Shadow Work, was just released on Friday, July 22nd, and is a tremendous 7-song showcase of the band's strength and prowess in crafting fiercely heart-pounding sonic treats, the likes of which can be experienced both audibly and visually in the music video for their lead single, Spirit Box, Tuned to You. Folks, it is my honor to welcome to the show Steven Rosplock, Yachetta and Aaron White. Guys, give it up for Phantasm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here today with the great Phantasm. Guys, thank you for joining me on the podcast today.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Just so everyone can kind of get used to and adjust to whose voice is who, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Steve. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Jay. I'm the drummer.
And I'm Aaron. I play bass and backups.
Very cool. Very cool. So I got a chance to hear the new single Spirit Box, Tuned to You, which is goddamn phenomenal, gentlemen. Like, absolutely cool. And totally right in my wheelhouse. And the video is amazing as well. Jay, you directed the video?
I did. Yeah. That's my other gig is filmmaking. So
very cool.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we haven't done a Phantasm video in probably, I don't know, 5-6 years probably. So it's really fun. It's always kind of a challenge for me when it's my band to try and conjure the image, because I'm so like deep in the song, you know what I mean? But it's always a challenge, but I I think it turned out really good. So
it did turn out really good, and I implore anybody listening to check it out. It'll be up on YouTube. I'm doing this thing again. I do this all the time where I forget that we're in the future and not the past. Up on YouTube. But no, just a phenomenal song and a phenomenal video. But let's rewind. Where are you guys from?
Well, Philadelphia band. We've been playing in Philly since 2007. And but we actually first got together near Buffalo, New York in 2003.
Okay. What made the jump from Buffalo to Philly?
I mean, touring, really. We always came and toured through Philly, and we just always loved it. And we wanted to be on the East Coast. We wanted to be close to all the other cities, New York, etc. So we moved our base here and never looked back.
That is cool. Yeah, it is like the perfect kind of like central hub to, all of those great East Coast, it's, a little bit of a trip to Boston, but still not too far of a jaunt. Yeah, and then, right there to New York, right down to DC. How did you guys kind of get together in the first place?
We met in college.
It was like our first year, second year, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was our first year of college.
I had just my buddy had just joined the military, so my band disbanded, and I was like, "Well, I want to find another band." But all the bands that I was going to like this music school down like a little ways from where you guys were going to school, and all the music kids were like way too good to play with me, so I had to go find other people to play with.
Who were worse?
So he found us.
No, what's funny though? Remember that first time we jammed together?
Yeah.
We went into the house. We sat we were like legit at my bass, the old bass player's house, because the drummer was Timmy, his brother.
Yeah.
And he was gone already. And we're like sitting there at his table making plans for this new band. And you were just saying all these things, and my eyes were lighting up like, oh my God, this is the guy. This is the thing. Like I was getting so excited. I remember like just sitting there like, this could be the greatest thing in the world. And like, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where it kicked off.
Yeah, it's amazing. We sat down at that table and then here we are like years and years later.
It was like that Step Brothers scene. It's like, do we just become best friends?
That's crazy. I'm going to take it back a little bit, and I'm going to go individually one by one. But I want to hear a little bit about like what kind of music was playing around your house when you were kids. Steven, we'll start with you. We'll just go left to right.
A lot of the Carpenters. We had a lot of ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, a lot of like soft yacht rock stuff, which is like, it's such a strange departure from what I ended up liking to play a lot. As a musician, but I like ELO is still like one of my favorite bands of all time.
They're incredible. Could you appreciate it back then, or was it something you had to grow to?
ELO, yeah. I probably wore out my dad's cassettes like couple times over. I think he had to buy the greatest hits compilation twice because of me. But I mean, personally, after like I got more into like finding my own music, I got to dig through my mom's brother's crate of old vinyls, and he had like a lot of cool old prog rock because he was a musician and played keys in a lot of like cover bands in the area. So he was like hip on all of like Yes and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, ton of Genesis. So like Genesis became crazy in my wheelhouse. Like loved all of their, I think they had The Lamb Laying Down on Broadway and several other records. I'm seeing them in my head, but I can't think of them right now. But yes, like that was kind of like where I started at, I think, for the most part.
That's cool. Jay, how about yourself?
Well, my dad was and is a guitar player, so he was always playing Eric Clapton. That was like his probably most played thing, which I thought was cool. But I got my hands on an Elvis record, and I got my hands on a Michael Jackson record, Thriller, and those were like my two favorites as a little kid, for sure.
Definitely. Aaron?
My dad is really a banjo player. He's really into bluegrass. And so
dude, don't downplay it. Your dad is an absolute shredder on the banjo.
Really?
He's a phenomenon. Like, he's so good.
He just sits in front of the TV and plays banjo all day. He's truly bluegrass. It's like in his bones.
He's like pro level though. You make it sound like he's just a weekend. I mean, he kind of is now because he's, these days, but like he's
up there now.
He's incredible. Like, so good.
But yeah, I would listen to that, and then he also played guitar, a lot of like folk stuff on guitar. So that was kind of what was going on. My sister was really got me into, like, I would listen to Queen and Beatles and things like that, and I would basically listen to her playlists and stuff like that when I was little. And then I guess, like, as I grew older, I kind of started trying to come into my own with music. I think that I was more of maybe a late bloomer in terms of like really discovering music, because I really started doing that more when I was like,
well, you're the freshman. One that you turned me on to Incubus.
Yeah, I started.
Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. We very much bonded when we got together. I think Californication just came out, and we were all real hip to like that record and Incubus Make Yourself. You're like, you gotta listen to Incubus Make Yourself, man. It'll change your life. and it kind of did, I'd say. It was really good.
I started stuff. Before I met these guys, I was playing with this band that was like pretty much too cool for anything. So like what it was is like
I think a lot of bands are like that.
So like as soon as anyone's popular, they're not cool anymore.
Yep.
Like, so everything's got to be the most underground of the underground kind of stuff. And so it was like, all right, I started listening to Mr. Bungle and like trying to like just out there stuff.
You turned me on to Mr. Bungle too.
Same.
I really like the Science album of Incubus and things like that. Yeah. And I do think that was like a really strong early influence of our.
I think that kind of music's really what created the foundation for the music that we make today. Does that make sense? Would you agree?
Yeah.
I don't know, like many other influences that still stick around.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Really
How about you?
So me, like my dad listened to everything from like Motown to rock, classic rock and stuff like that. But he was two of his big artists that he loved was Harry Nilsson and Toots and the Maytals, and like that's like ingrained in my head. And then my mom was like, she loved music, and I actually talked to somebody about this recently that like for some reason I can't really in my head pinpoint people who my mom loved, like even though I know for a fact that like Adam Ant, she had like a lot of Adam Ant albums for some random reason. But a big album that they both loved and is kind of like a big part of it's in my Desert Island 5 is Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, which is just
absolutely
incredible.
So good.
So you guys kind of bonded over music. Like, how did you put an ad out to kind of look for people, or did you know each other previously to kind of jamming that first time?
I think it was like friends of friends kind of introduced us.
Yeah, I mean, out there's like, it's not as easy to find people to play music with, I feel like, because it's not as populated as a big city. It's like where we kind of all came from, it was very rural. So if someone was playing music, you probably knew them.
Yeah.
You could easily figure out who was playing in bands and stuff.
Yeah, not many degrees of separation.
No,
in that small town.
Yeah, there's like two places to play, maybe. Yeah, which was really one of the big reasons I think we were like, we have to find some place where we can play more in different places, because playing this one venue like every month is kind of like peaking out, like.
Yeah,
sure. Did you guys were you guys drawn to being a trio? Was there ever anybody else you tried to bring in, or was it always kind of a 3-piece idea?
We tried like hell to find other singers. I didn't really want to be a singer.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I was like, fighting tooth and nail to get somebody. Like we started with another fellow that was singing and didn't really work out. And then we kept searching for singers, and like, I ended up just kind of like doing it because no one else is really doing it the way we wanted to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did try to bring in, there have been other people in the group. We used to have like a DJ in the band.
Oh yeah, James.
Early on, and that was kind of like, that also kind of brings back the Incubus a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
Super crazy about that stuff.
So there was a DJ for a while there.
Yeah. Well, he was one of the founding members. He was there for years.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like quit music. And and then what? And then we got a guitar player for a little bit.
That didn't work out.
That was like one tour, and it just didn't work out. So we just always functioned the best as a 3-piece.
Yeah, it definitely works, man. I've really enjoyed being able to kind of go through your catalog and kind of ingest a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. And you can hear it in the radio or in the recordings, but what was kind of the evolution of your sound? Like when did you feel that you kind of hit the groove and knew exactly what that band should sound like?
We'll let you know when it happens.
I was gonna say, like when did we finish this record?
Yeah.
What was that last song we did? It was.
Yeah, I don't know if we would all have the same answer for this or not.
I thought we were scratching at like the sound that I was hearing in my head on Impossible Machines.
Yeah.
Which was like, well, it will be 3 records back now. But that was kind of like, it's like almost there. And then 3 Men Make a Tiger, I was really happy with that. I was like, this could be the sound. But then we made this album and I'm like, no, this is definitely this is like the peak Phantasm, I think. What this band could be and is.
I think that one of the things is we write the music. We've always written the music collectively through most of the time. So we would sit and jam for hours, really, and kind of like in the moment try to like create pieces and parts. So we kind of collaged it together versus having like one person come to the group with a written song. We never typically like worked that way for most of the time, and I think that naturally lends itself to like trying to discover our sound as a group, and our heads have to come together on like one thing. We all like so many different styles, and there's like, so within our songs there would be a lot of styles, maybe, especially early on, a lot of funky stuff, but then it would get like heavy, and then it would get all kinds of stuff. And it just took us a while to like zero in on what we all really agree is like a focused space of writing. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. What year did you say you guys made the journey down here to Philly?
It was late 2007.
Okay. So when you get down here, what kind of bands locally were you playing with?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, we were doing like open mic nights. We would go to the Fire and play there. And let's see,
the Grape Room too.
Grape Room. Yeah, we actually got booked at the Grape Room, which was cool, which was the old Grape Room for Philly people. It was on, or not the old one, the second old one.
The middle one.
The middle old one. Yeah. But I guess as far as like, if you're talking like genre, I feel like we kind of found ourselves with some of like the like rap rock bands, like Grind City was one, Philly band, and then kind of like, and there were some other kind of like funk kind of punk bands.
Still Aside?
Yeah.
Still Aside was one. They're not around anymore, but they kind of became the Shakers part of them. Yeah, we play with those guys a lot.
What was it easy to kind of transition into those rooms of like from the open mics and stuff like that? Like, were you able to kind of get gigs early on, or was it a challenge at first?
Well, at that point we were like a pretty established band coming into Philly. Like, we had already been a band for what, 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Okay.
4 years.
I think 4 years, and we had played hundreds of shows,
like really hard.
I don't know of any band that's toured as much and not seen any fruits of their labor from touring as much as we have.
We were touring like pretty hard.
Yeah,
like we would do like tours a month at a time, and I mean, it was we needed to kind of get out of. We liked branching out of our area because we were in a very small town kind of atmosphere. So we loved going and visiting all these places. So when we came into Philly, we kind of had a leg up. It wasn't like we were just started a band and we're like trying to find a place to play. Like, we knew how everything kind of worked. And when we played a room, we were like a pretty established band.
Yeah.
We like slept in vans together. We all lived in the same house. We played music. Like, we had rehearsals like 3 or 4 times a week.
So we could play for sure. So we could play, and we also kind of made it our mission just to go out and network and meet, go to every show, like, see who's playing that night, go to the show and just try to like make friends with all the bands.
You guys pounded the pavement like crazy that first couple months we were there. We were like almost every other night you guys.
Yeah. And we just thought that was so great because you could find music every night in Philly.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really the case anymore, but but at the time you could find a show pretty much every night of the week.
Where what was your home base spot? Was it the Grape Room or was it somewhere else?
I think, we started off, it was the Grape Room, and then they closed, and then we moved over to Doc Watson's.
Oh yeah. It's great.
That would be probably the spot. And then what else? Then the Grape Room came back, and then that was our spot.
Yeah, because we actually lived not far from the Grape Room, and we like all kind of worked around that area too. So we would be able to be like, yo, friends, come down to the Grape Room and let's like have a good show. And it'd be like good shows. It'd be like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Aaron ran a venue for a year called the Rocks Box. It was like a small venue in Roxborough.
Mm-hmm.
So then that was our spot. And then I guess later, like Boot and Saddle that's where we were playing most of our local shows before they shut down too, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah. They're coming back though, right? Is that what I read?
Oh, yeah, great. I think so.
I did not know that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
As long as they keep the boot.
They better. Oh, they better. Yeah, no, that was like one of the biggest COVID losses in this area. Like of a business, I'll say. But yeah, like I'm so glad that they were able to kind of rally and find a way to bring that back. Do you guys see yourselves like what do you think is a better representation of yourselves, live or like your recordings? Like,
well, if this was like a couple albums ago, I'd say probably live. But
yeah,
I think after the last two, I think the recordings are pretty darn good. I don't say so myself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because we would play the songs live like a million times and then go and record them. So it was kind of like very road tested kind of thing. But the last 2 albums we're writing in the studio. And so we had the recording first and then we're, translating that to live.
Yeah, which I think is a better way of doing it because you think about some of like the earlier stuff, like the stuff that worked live that was like exciting and like jarring or shocking, like didn't always really come across on the recordings the way the live stuff did, like as much as we tried to make it that way. But
we would really like tailor our sets together. We try to keep people really attention. We did all kinds of
we had a
fun
whole
things,
live looping thing. We did like at one point we were having 3 people play the bass guitar at once. That was fun.
Yeah, we did
like power tools and stuff, like kind of borrowing from some more industrial bands and like using drills on our guitars and stuff. Yeah, fun stuff, whatever. And sometimes you'd just be like dares, like, I dare you to make a sandwich on stage during this break. And we're like, all right, well,
that's great. I just saw this is a complete non sequitur, but I just saw recently Car Seat Headrest, and there's a song that doesn't have drums on it, so the drummer they put a canvas out and just let him paint a painting while they were all playing.
I love it.
That was great. I know somebody that went to that. They said it was awesome.
It was an incredible show, but I'll tell you what, I'll be 100% honest, I didn't realize that he's wearing a mask now, and with the LED eyes on it and stuff like that, and I was like, what's going on? Like this I'm so confused. Like they came out and I was like, this is their music, but this guy's got an LED bug mask on. I was weird. It was weird.
He wore it the whole time?
The entire time. Yes.
Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe he was sick.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, well, because we actually, my girlfriend and I, we went to the show and like, we were like Googling it on the way home. We were like, there's got to be a story behind this mask, because like my initial thought was, I wonder if it's a COVID thing. Like I was wondering, like if he was just really insecure about going out and doing live shows in big venues. They literally asked him about it, and he was like, no, it's not a COVID thing. He's like, I was studying a lot of David Bowie and a lot of like stage performance, and I wanted to try something. And I was like, oh, all right then. Kudos to you. Like, you still sound great, so it's all that matters. Like, but it definitely took me by surprise. I was like, what's going on? I don't. So do you like? You make the move down here, you're playing different places and stuff like that. How long did it take you to kind of build a following in the area? You said you came in as, somewhat established or whatnot, but was it a challenge to kind of build a community here?
I think the house shows that we threw really helped building the community, because we would do a lot of like basement shows at our place, because we were like very fortunate to have a full like apartment to rent that was shared with like fraternities and sororities on the other side. So they didn't really give a shit. Like if we were making music like real loud, they're all just college kids and they were partying most of the time we were playing. So it didn't matter. And like sometimes they would come over and like check it out and like we make friends with them and stuff. It's pretty fun. I think that went a long way to help building some amount of a audience in Philly.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, it's one of the things that I've always found interesting about, bands relocating is like it's a little easier now with the internet and whatnot, but like, it's a bit of a challenge to kind of, build that, especially if you've built it and then you're, starting over from scratch in a new area. But it sounds like, like the carryover, there wasn't really any struggle there. So, going into was the first album done down here, or did you do that before the move?
That was done before the move.
Okay.
Clever Cunning Actor, we recorded that in Erie, PA.
Home of the Oneaters.
Yes.
Wonders.
Yes. I'm a big fan of fictional bands. So you are in good company here, sir.
I love that film and I love that band. That was one of the first songs I learned how to play, was That Thing You Do. I remember buying the guitar tab from the store and being like, I guess I'll play this song now.
That's so cool.
Yes, I guess it was just some early demos and then that record were done in, where we came from. And then everything else has been since we've been in Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? You said early on that like you were kind of just compiling songs and then going into the studio with it. But, the transition, the past few albums of writing, in the studio for the album, what's that? Kind of take me through that process a little bit. Or like, are you taking, jams or anything into it at all? Or is it literally just like, let's spend some time in the studio?
I think for this last one, I mean, we were fortunate enough to be able to actually have a studio space now, and that really changed the way we could do things. So over the pandemic, we kind of tried something new, which was let's go in with the intention of finishing a song a day and see where that takes us, because we can just record it right away. And so Jay and I would get together and we would just like the good old days, just keep on riffing until we find some stuff we like and being like, you like that? I'm like, I like that. All right, so we work off of that, and then build a song structure real quick and then record it. So like we were kind of taking out the element of all that second guessing and like super analyzing all these little parts and stuff. Like, we'll figure it out. Like as long as the general vibe is in there and the feels good, we're gonna keep going with it. And like that's how all of these songs got made. And I think that was like such a great way to work, because the longer you spend on something, I feel like the more you sort of lose the sparkle of it.
Yeah, sure.
Not like that excitement. Not to say that you shouldn't like make sure it's good, but like just to make sure that the energy is there and doesn't get lost. Because like, I mean, some of the old stuff we would rehash songs a dozen times, and by the time it was done with it, you're like, I hate this song.
Yeah,
I hate it. Yeah, the bridge is cool, but I hate the song. Like it's so kind of just got rid of all of that, and it's. I think it's like a really great way to do stuff.
That's cool. You mentioned the pandemic. What was besides being a ridiculous hell that we were all experiencing? What was the pandemic like for you guys? Like as a band, were you able to were you guys each other's pod or whatnot to be able to continue making music? Or?
Yeah, I think we took a break because luckily we had recorded 4 songs like right at the beginning of the pandemic or maybe before. So Steve had some stuff to play with at the home studio. And so we did take a break for a while just because like nobody knew what was going on. I mean, you know what I mean? Like everybody was like away from everybody kind of thing. So we did take a break for a while, but then eventually we broke out of that and started writing. I think we were wearing masks for a while, like
long time
in the room.
Actually. Yeah.
But yeah, so we slowly got back into it, but then we wrote the other half of the album during the pandemic.
Yeah. Who handles lyrics?
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
Were you handling them when you didn't want to sing? When you before you reluctantly took over, or?
Yeah.
Where were you always a lyricist? Like, was that from a childhood type thing? Were you always kind of?
Not really. No. I guess I never really thought much about the lyrics. This is a good question, because usually I'm just like, yeah, cool sounds and stuff. All right, but yeah, lyrics. I think the first couple albums and stuff, it's like, and that was really the first time I was ever starting to write lyrics and words, and I was just like, I'm going to try to be as clever and mysterious as possible. And also, like, for some reason, when I listen back to them, I'm like, these are oddly like suggestive sometimes, and I don't know why I was being like that, because I'm not really like that in person. I was doing my best impression of all the people that I thought were like great lyricists and stuff. And it took a long time before I really felt comfortable to be like, all right, I'm going to write this stuff, and this is coming from me. It's very personal, or it's, actually means something to me at least, or anything like that. It's something to work. I always try to like do a little better each time.
Yeah, sure. No, I know, like for myself, like when I started writing songs, they were all like, I don't want to say parody songs because they weren't parody songs, but they always had like a humor to them or whatnot. And I found that I used it as a crutch. It was essentially like, you cannot hurt me if you say you don't like this, because it's like, oh, you just don't find it funny or something like that, something along.
Joke. Yeah.
Exactly. So like, to be, you know, and it takes growth, and it takes, you know, doing it over and over again to like, all right, maybe I will put a little piece of myself in this and stuff like that. So, you know, as you were kind of transitioning, you know, into kind of finding your voice as a songwriter, did you find it at all challenging to sing those songs live once you started kind of?
Well, being a 3-piece, it's always a challenge to sing live. Like, I'm a very busy guy up there, which is, you know, I think Aaron and Jay make up for it, though. They're pretty darn animated when they're playing. But I try my best, you know. I want to say I've gotten more. Part of that whole finding your voice thing is like learning to play your strong points. Mm-hmm. I think that was like a big hurdle I needed to overcome that I honestly don't feel like I really got around to till like a couple years ago. Like again, that the last album we put out, I think was probably the first one where I was like, these are lyrics that I'm proud of, you know, or it's hard because I'm not like the biggest like lyrics aficionado, you know, like sure. I'm not the type of person that's going to sit down and like dig through like some, like a group's lyrics and being like, wow, he said this thing here and it's so or whatever. It's never really been like what I go to when I listen to music. But people do listen to the lyrics. It's like, it's a big part. It's really important.
Yeah.
Turns out the quickest way to connect to your audience is through the lyrics and the melody and stuff. So, that was a good realization to come around to, I think.
That's great. That's great. Here's a random question out of nowhere. You know, Aaron, your dad's this incredible banjo player. Jay, you said your dad played guitar. Have you gotten your folks on any songs or anything like that?
I have not on any of our songs. It's different genres.
Yeah, it's true.
Jay's dad's an absolute shredder too. I mean, either your dads would probably make us look bad, so it's best not that they don't play.
Yeah, we've done some. My dad and I have done some recordings at home, and I think we did one with you guys also.
Oh yeah,
came over like one Christmas, and we had the gear all set up and all the couches pushed over, you know, in the living room, and we did some stuff, but that's like more like my dad's stuff, and we did a recording with the three of us and your dad.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So we have done some dad side projects for sure.
Just like a fun.
Yeah, I like to think more or less we're guesting on their stuff.
Yeah. For sure. No, that's cool. That is so cool. Like that's an awesome thing to be able to share and stuff like that. And not just, you know, share with your respective parents, but to share with your band brothers as well. Like that's a cool little thing, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, we've all become family at this point. Like we've been playing together for so long, and we're brothers, and so like their parents are not exactly our parents, but you know, like, we're all family.
Yeah. So Shadow Work coming out very shortly. Have you been able to start playing some of these songs live, or are you holding back on them until closer to release? Or
we're playing, or we have been playing a handful of them, but we're saving a few for the release. So we're doing them, and then we're doing more later.
Yeah, sure. What's the reception been like? Have people been eating them up?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Dude, we actually haven't played the show yet. That we're playing the show tomorrow, but it won't. Doing that past future thing, and I'm just trying to bullshit through
it. Oh, that's so cool. See, it's not just me. It's not just me, folks. They hear me do this every week. Like, I think it's and I start to do the math. But post pandemic, like, what was your first kind of live show back? When did you get to do that?
That'll be the future past show.
Oh, really? You guys haven't played since the.
Have not played.
This has been the longest time we've went without playing a show. I think
definitely
ever
for sure.
I don't think we ever even I want to say we probably played a show every 3 months minimum. You know, at the minimum, like before this, for like probably 15, 16 years.
Yeah, I mean, we counted one time. We've played over 1,000 shows.
Yeah.
So there have never been big long breaks like this before.
That's wild. Yeah, like I played a few outdoor shows during the pandemic, and it was hard. It was really hard. Like because everybody had to be so far away, like it was almost like I would rather be in my basement doing a live stream right now than being at this show, because you just, it's so hard. It's already hard enough to connect and to get that connection and get the vibe going, but to do it with people like distant and stuff like that. But all of the live shows I've played and all the live shows I've been to since things have opened up have been absolutely incredible. Like, people are so hungry for it. And also, I know that in the past, the future past, that they are going to love the show, and you guys are gonna have a killer one. Where was that show at? was
Dobbs on South Street.
So you guys are playing that show on South Street, and I just realized that we had that conversation before I hit record. There has this past weekend or whatnot was this tragic shooting that occurred down there on South Street. Like there's kind of a weird calm in the air, and then on top of that, you're doing your show, but in the future past. But kind of talk the audience through kind of what your conversation has been about, like that, like kind of what we were just talking about, because I think it's a really incredible thing that you guys are kind of looking to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did have a conversation about it, because we were concerned one of the other bands didn't think it was the right time to play, so they bailed on the show. And we talked about it, and ultimately, we considered that also, and trying to consider different points of view, but ultimately we thought that going to play the show and, putting out some good vibes and playing some good music is ultimately going to do much better. Cause
like, how are you gonna? There's a big elephant in the room when you're doing a show, knowing that like a bullet came through that window and grazed somebody's leg. Like, people died out front of there. Like, how are you gonna not talk about that or not know that or have it hanging over your head, like when you're playing or in the audience or anything like that? I was, as soon as I got the news about that and then it clicked that I was like, oh my God, that's like right where we're playing next week. I mean, you have to, you'd be doing yourself and everyone a disservice without acknowledging that and trying to like take that and turn that into something more positive in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also decided that the way to kind of to call attention to it and I don't know, like, take it seriously, give it the gravity that it deserves, would be to donate the proceeds of our show, or at least our portion, to I can't remember the name of it.
We think we decided on Everytown.
Everytown, yes. Yeah.
There's a couple good orgs out there that are helping fight gun violence.
Yeah, and they promote safe gun use and gun safety.
Yeah.
And so we thought that was a good way to approach that situation.
Definitely. And like I said earlier, before we started recording, like, much respect for that. Like, it is just a horrifying tragedy. And but I do agree. I completely agree with you that, like, kind of canceling good things because of it, kind of feeds feeds the negativity and it doesn't help heal. Whereas I believe that music and culture can help heal. And I'm glad you guys are continuing on with that show. And I think, future past, but I think people should definitely go. And
100%. I totally agree. Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate that.
and check it out. So, just to talk a little more about the single Spirit Box, I had never heard of a Spirit Box before until this track. So I had to look it up. And so this is, I read that this is written with a Spirit Box experience. Let's do two things. One, explain to the good folks listening what a Spirit Box is. And two, tell me about this experience.
Okay. So if a spirit, if anyone hasn't ever seen a Spirit Box or heard one in action, it's basically like taking your AM FM dial or scan button and just holding it down, or just turning the dial constantly, like, so it's scanning between all of these frequencies. And kind of what that does is sort of creates a background for hopefully some kind of communication with spirits or extraterrestrials or ultra-terrestrials or whatever comes through these things. And I've seen a lot of things where it's working, but I was always kind of like, well, I don't know. So I had to try it. So we tried it, and we went to a partner's family's house, and we think there's a ghost there. So am I just not to get too deep into it. We thought there's been a ghost there for a while. We've seen some weird stuff. We're like, why don't we try to use this to talk to this ghost or whatever it is? So we did it, and it absolutely worked. It's crazy. So we got this little Spirit Box thing going. I'm in these headphones that are isolated, and I'm hearing this sweep of the channel back through the ears and stuff. And every once in a while, a word or two or a phrase will pop out at you that's doesn't seem like it belongs there. So as the person that's hooked into the Spirit Box, my job is to just kind of say those words, because I don't really know. I'm basically isolated from whoever's asking questions. And I feel like I'm doing a really bad job describing this.
No, I think
you don't hear the question.
Yeah. So the methodology we use is called the Estes method, which was developed by the guys from Hellier and from, which is I think on Amazon, if you check it out, they actually use the Spirit Box in a lot of their investigations and stuff. So if you're interested in seeing these in action, I would just go watch a little bit of Hellier. I think they do it in the first couple episodes, and you can see the methodology behind it. But it was remarkable. I thought I was just saying stuff and none of it made any sense. And I get out and they're like, yeah, so you definitely answered all the questions pretty much we were asking with your responses. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And I mean, we have a recording of it. I don't know if I want to put it out because it's kind of weird and little we run of the mill kind of fly thing. I think we just recorded it on an iPhone just to hear the interplay and whatever. But
yeah,
it worked out pretty cool. And honestly, I don't really know what it is we're talking with or how the mechanism of it actually works. I mean, maybe it's just creates the bowl of water that you drop a marble in, and it's the substrate that you can see the things happening through or hear the things happening through in this case. It's just such an interesting thing. I got really, really into all of this kind of esoteric stuff throughout the pandemic and kind of became my hobby, which is kind of why the album's the way it is in a way. I was joking with Jay. It's if anyone really pays attention to the lyrics and the flow of the album, it's sort of like a beginner's guide to witchcraft in a way.
Very cool.
Baby's first occult album, but it's not in your face about it or nothing, but it's in there. If you know, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of words and phrases that I'll say on the record. If you hear them and be like, oh yeah, this guy definitely spent some time reading up on the Golden Dawn. That sort of stuff.
All right. Here's my pitch for you. You ready?
Yeah.
7-inch single, Spirit Box on one side, the recording on the other. Think about it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about making the video. Where did you come up with the concept for all that?
I think that the main priority for me was something that was missing from previous videos. It was a fairly simple thing, but it's our performance. So we decided the last video we wanted to do, none of us are in it, right? It's like a little movie kind of thing.
Sure.
So and as years, as a couple years pass, I'm like, I think we need to be in the video. I think there's like a somewhat of a disconnect there.
Like we have pretty good hair. You should probably show it.
Right. And I really wanted to do a silhouette thing, and just because we have the 3-piece, so we have this kind of like symmetry with Steve in the middle, and then drums on this side, bass on that side, kind of thing. So I just kept thinking about the silhouette of like what we would look like in silhouette, and so that was a big part of it, and so much of the so many the kind of heavier bands are always, everything is just black and white and gray and dirty and dingy, and so we just went like full colorful. Like it's still,
dude, the color palette is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and it's so stunning to watch. Like it's just visually pleasing.
You should see what it's like standing in that room when all those colors are blasting with the lights. It's real trippy. I wish everyone could experience that in some way. Like it was fun.
Yeah,
fun to do.
we did a couple takes with just straight like strobe, and when if anyone sees the video, they'll know what it means. It's like we're on a 30-foot white cyc, which is just like a giant void. We're surrounded in this giant void, and it's just this pulsing red light going on and off. And I think we were getting sick. Like we were like we could only do like a little chunk of the song because I think somebody would have had a seizure, so we...
Because at some point when you get close enough to the center of that wall, your whole field of vision is just what that light is, just the colors. And it's like, really, like I've never experienced anything like that. It's almost like there's a thing called the Gansfeld experiment where you put ping pong balls over your eyes and shine red light, helps you get into a hypnagogic state. It's very much like that. And I was like, I love this. This is great. And I was just like, crank it up.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, and the guys at the studio that were running the lights were like, "Are you sure you guys want to do this?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. We're not photosensitive. At least we don't think.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say that would be a crazy time to find out, wouldn't it? Make for great outtakes, though.
That's the main thing, and then I just kind of. Because I talked to Steve a lot about the Spirit Box because it's something that I didn't know anything about. And it's an unusual thing. So we talked about it multiple times, and I'm like, tell me about it. Like how do how do you connect with it and stuff like that. So that's where some of the other images come from. We're painting symbols on glass and which are sigils, which, is basically, I don't know. I mean, the way I would describe
spells in image form.
Yes, exactly. It's like something. It's like it's an image that you create that you kind of like assign like significance or power to.
Yes.
Right. So that and just mixed in some kind of creepy imagery in with that, and that's kind of where it came from.
It's killer, man, and it matches so perfectly to such an incredible song. I'm really glad that it was sent to me, that I was able to check it out in the future past. Before it came out.
I can't tell you how grateful I am that you enjoyed the song, because I'm like, not anybody outside this group has really heard it. So
oh really?
You're like kind of the first person to give some feedback on it, and I really appreciate that.
Dude, it's got just such a perfect driving rhythm, and I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but your voice sounds great on it. Like it's just a really good song. Like, and you guys should definitely be proud. It definitely has me completely psyched for the rest of the album. I can't wait to kind of see what you guys have created, in the 2 years of hell.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. I also want to give a big shout out to Rittenhouse Filmworks, which is the studio. So they were really great to us. They were really very helpful throughout the whole process of doing the video there and everything. And anybody that has like a film project, that's the spot. That's where you need to go. It's a probably the best studio in Philly.
That's awesome. Perfect shout out. Well, you guys want to go through this standard questionnaire?
Sure,
This is I call it the Jawntlet, and these are two sections of 10 questions. The first are kind of like a rapid. We'll just kind of go in order. Steve, Jay, Aaron, for each of these. Question number 1 of the one hit wonders: Billy Joel or Elton John?
Billy Joel.
I'm gonna go Elton John.
Billy Joel.
All right, we got Billy Joel over Elton John. See, now we can do an actual winning vote in real time.
That's how we write all our songs and make all our decisions. Is just a vote because there's 3 of us.
Yeah, it kind of sucks though when 2 of the other guys are definitely on something. You
got to convince one of the other people to come to your side.
Yeah, it's cool. I'd love to see the politicking to try to get that swing vote.
I don't know. These days, I don't think you stay around with the other guys if you haven't. Like, how long has it been now? Like 17?
It's been almost 20.
Almost 20 years. Like knowing these guys, like we're pretty like the same guys now at this point. It's 20 years, so like there's very few things that we disagree on. I think musically, anyways.
Except for Billy Joel.
Except for Billy Joel. I just look. Billy Joel had Attila, that crazy hard rock band before this stuff. And honestly, if I'm gonna listen to like a greatest hits, it's Billy Joel for me. There's so many.
That's a good point. Can I say neither?
You very well can. You very well can. Number 2, Debbie Harry or Joan Jett?
Joan Jett.
Well, Joan Jett.
Same.
Yeah, there we go. And she's from the area, so we gotta represent Philly in here. Number 3, Aretha Franklin or Tina Turner?
Aretha for me.
Aretha.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, that's I've said this a lot now, but that's one that I'm probably gonna have to take out because I think I've had like 2 people say Tina Turner and that was it.
I mean, Tina's great, but Aretha's she plucks the strings of the heart in a way that
100%. And it's funny because that one I think replaced because I had different ones season 1, and that one replaced David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar, which everybody picked David Lee Roth except for one guest. But so maybe it's just a cursed spot. Is the next one, Nirvana or Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam.
Nirvana.
I'm sorry.
Nirvana.
Okay, a Nirvana win there, but I'm a Pearl Jam guy too, so I'll be your swing vote. Next one, Janis Joplin or Stevie Nicks?
Janis all the way.
Yeah, I gotta go Janis.
Same.
All right. I like these shutout ones. It's very definitive. Beatles or the Stones?
I like the Beatles a little better.
I'm gonna go Beatles as well.
Yeah, Beatles.
Oh, the shutouts continue. You guys are kind of like I don't know if you remember, there were 3 forms of Voltron. There was the vehicles, there were the lions, but in the middle there were 3 robots, and you guys are like the robot form of Voltron. So there you go.
Great.
We're just robots.
The final one of the one hit wonders: Bohemian Rhapsody or Stairway to Heaven?
Oh, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Same.
Yeah. This is the other one, like the Aretha Franklin one, that also has to change. So the next segment is the top 10 countdown. In this segment, I use Jawn to be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't have to be music, because that's what Jawn is. So any way you want to use Jawn in any of these questions, please feel free. But number 1, what was your first Jawn? What was the first thing you were obsessed with when you were younger, Steven?
Boy, that's tough. Like how young?
I mean, whatever jumps out is like the first thing you can like pinpoint.
Let's stay out of the puberty years, though.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was getting at. I'm like, I don't know how deep I want to get into this. I think I was that kid who got a 4-track recorder. I really I was probably like 16, and I was like trying to dub my own stuff. Like a track tape recorder. It started then, and it never really stopped. I just like like all forms of recorded music and recording the process, everything.
Yeah, very cool. Right behind me, I won't be able to reach it without knocking everything over, is my original Tascam from back in the day.
That's
Nice.
That's straight up gold these days. They're real expensive to get.
That's what I hear.
I've been keeping an eye out, and I can't find one that works for like less than $400 for some reason. It's crazy. And to think that I sold mine for like $60 to a friend.
Sure. Yeah, of course. We were like, oh, we don't need these anymore. We have computers. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did our first demos on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Jay, how about you? First Jawn.
Okay. So before streaming, right? TV streaming, and before like DVDs were really popular, I would tape every Simpsons episode from TV and catalog them and put them back on a tape in order of season. So my friend and I, that was our obsession. And we had a whole spreadsheet of all the episodes and what the name was and the title was.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah.
Today I learned.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking incredible.
We got through at least a couple seasons because you had to just wait for it to come on.
Yeah.
we had a, which tape, this is like tape number 7 or whatever, has like Last Exit to Springfield on it. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
And then, so then you look in the sheet and it's like, okay, we're coming up to season, whatever season that's on. And then so we take that, put them in order, cut out the commercials.
Do you still have these tapes?
They probably are at my parents' house. Yeah, probably.
What's your favorite Simpsons episode?
Oh man.
Streetcar Named Marge?
I don't know if I could pull a favorite.
Camp Krusty?
Oh man.
My answer for that while you're thinking about it is I forget the exact name of the title, but I'm pretty sure it's You Only Move Twice. It's the Hank Scorpio episode.
That's a great one.
That's so good. Yeah.
That's a great one.
That's it. And it's all because of just the there's the middle section where hammocks or Homer's talking about wanting to install hammocks, and they go through all the different hammock names, and he goes, "Oh, you mean down at the hammock district?" Yeah, like
yeah. You can go to Mary Ann's hammock. She gets in the hammock with you.
That's exactly right. The best. That is the best.
Episode. I'll default to that one for now. I think that's not even a question, but yeah, that's a great one.
Awesome. Aaron, first Jawn.
Let's see. All mine are weird.
Let's get weird.
Yeah, do it.
So yeah, I used to juggle. Yes. I used to really get into juggling. So I would just every kind of pattern of juggling.
I feel like you got to put up or shut up now.
Yeah,
You're gonna juggle on an audio podcast, folks. Let's do it.
Used to juggle pins and all kinds of stuff.
Could you do? Could do pins? Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Is that what oh man, that's cool. I could never do pins. I could just do balls and beanbags and stuff like that. But
you should do like a thing. You should do like a routine.
We could do a routine.
Yeah, we'll work something out.
Remember you did do that with what was his name? The dude from the dinosaur band. You bred dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
You bred raptors. That's right.
You bred raptors.
There's this band. You bred raptors, and this dude's like super pro juggler. Like, but he wouldn't. I mean, he's real on the DL about it. But he's really good. And
he's a good musician too.
Oh, he's so good. But I remember sitting outside of a venue and you two like tossing him back and forth, and I'm just standing there like, this is the coolest thing I think I've ever seen.
It's not every day you you meet up with another juggler. It's like, hey, you juggle too? You juggle? All right.
Yeah.
You pin pass? All right.
Bass player. Come on. What is it?
That's amazing. Number 2, what's your current Jawn, Steve?
I like to garden.
Is that a pandemic side effect?
Yeah. I mean, so I decided to really get interested in the occult, and more than I was before, and then also garden, because I think you need balance, and that seemed like a nice thing to do. I'm terrible at it, but by God, I try.
What do you grow? What are you growing there?
This year I'm in my small South Philly backyard planter. I have a couple tomato plants, a couple cucumber plants. I got lavender going in like a little pot somewhere. And what's the other thing? I'm trying to get some basil, but it's not taken very well for some reason.
All right.
I don't know. I'm like very new. I've only been doing it for like 2 years, so.
All right.
There's room for improvement.
Jay, how about yourself? What's your current Jawn? What are you into?
Well, my current Jawn, as you can clearly tell, is working out. So, and I'm sure that the listeners, they can probably hear it, really.
You're swole, man.
Yeah, it just kind of
vascular.
Oozes. Yeah, it just kind of oozes from
veins
me.
are just popping out of places I didn't know veins could be. Yeah. So vascular. So swole. Beast!
It's true. It's all true.
That's great.
But I got into, like pandemic for sure. Like I got into, the gym was closed in my apartment building. So I started working out just like body weight stuff in my office. And then once the gym opened back up, I got more into nutrition and into like different techniques and stuff like that. So I definitely got obsessed with it.
Very cool. Very cool. Aaron, yourself? Current Jawn?
I picked up acoustic guitar. And acoustic guitar is like the easy thing. I have to just grab right off the wall and play it. It's a good reset for me. If I just play it for like 5 minutes, kind of resets me. So acoustic guitar. Bass player's playing acoustic guitar now.
Acousticals.
My drummer started playing acoustic guitar over the pandemic, and he sent me a video. And I was like, okay, so you can do that. Am I supposed to play drums now? Like, I don't understand what.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
you got to that in the bud. That can't continue. You don't want drummers doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a drummer. I can say that.
Yeah. Number 3. What was your first concert, Steve?
I think my first proper concert was Third Eye Blind with Eve 6 and somebody else was opening at my college. I think that was like my first proper like rock and roll show where I went with friends to go see.
That's legit. That's like a college rock experience.
It was the campus tour like 2002 or something like that. It was like put on by MTV. So it was like, I remember like that was like the first time and Third Eye Blind was huge at that because they had just dropped their that big album of theirs where they had like Jumper and Semi-Charmed Life and all that. And I remember like just the production even. I was like, what? This is great.
Excellent. Jay?
From my memory, I think it was Ozfest in 2002 was the first like big concert I went to.
Who was on that lineup at that time?
It was so this was when I did not see Ozzy because Sharon Osbourne, his wife, had cancer. I think it was like recovering from cancer at that time, so he wasn't on the tour. But I think Rob Zombie and System of a Down like co-headlined.
Okay.
And I mean, they were both awesome. Like I wasn't like a big Rob Zombie fan at the time, but seeing him live like kind of made me a fan. And System of a Down was amazing. They were nuts. Like they were so good. It was like one of my favorite shows of all time.
That's incredible.
So yeah, such a good show. I'm trying to remember who else was there. POD was there. Let's see.
Towns.
Drowning Pool, I think, and that was like not
Bodies?
that long before that guy died. The singer.
He died?
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, but he died like not too long after that show.
Oh my god.
Apex Theory.
Oh, very nice.
You know Apex Theory?
I'm familiar. I'm not well versed, but yes.
But just being familiar is enough, man. Because like I feel like nobody knows about that band. They're like so
one
good.
of the most underrated bands of all time, in my opinion. They're still an influence on us. Like
yeah.
That
I kind of forgot about them even when we were talking about it because like I think me and you both had the Apex Theory record, and like, you like Apex Theory? I can't believe it. And I'm like, I've never known anybody that likes Apex Theory.
Yeah.
It's the Step Brothers moment you talked about.
Yeah.
That's exactly
that was Jay and I's stepbrother moment. I can't believe you like this band. Great.
Aaron, what was your first concert?
My first concert was actually Blink 182. A lot of skateboarding at that time. And
you have to justify it. It's
okay.
Yeah.
You can like what you like, man.
I remember, but it was cool because it was like me and my best friend at the time. We went out and like stay the night. We were all like, you know, by ourselves, like away from everything, and like going to a concert like that. I've never been to an event like that, and like
you guys like pregame and stuff.
Yeah, we pre-gamed. We went into the show, and like it was a whole experience, kind of. I had a lot of fun. So
that's dope. You know, just on something you said earlier, you know, the tagline of this show and this website and kind of movement is displace the guilt, embrace the pleasure, because I don't believe in guilty pleasures. So you like what you like and Love you that. Just own it. Just own it. So Blink 182, own it. Number 4, what was your last concert?
I saw Genesis's last tour recently.
How was it?
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, he's doing everything from a chair, right? Yeah. Is that? Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but playing drums, and it was kind of beautiful to see him look like There's this moment they had where he looked back, and you could just feel that he wishes he could be playing alongside his son.
Yeah,
and I was just like, my heart, because I love Genesis. I never seen them, and I was like, well, I got to see if this is the last hurrah. I would love to go see this show, and it was great, and he sounded pretty good. But man, it's just hard to see him like that, because I had seen like old concerts and stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, this guy's a straight beast. Like,
yeah,
so good. Like his voice and like he's playing drums on a lot of stuff while he's singing. And for what it's worth though, even sitting in that chair, he had everybody wrapped around his finger, the whole arena. And I'm like, that's amazing to me. Like he didn't lose a step, and he was even like, he knew the situation. I mean, he's done this for like 40 years, something like that, like probably more. He knows that he's stuck in the chair, and he's playing to it. He knows. And like the brilliance behind that was, man, it was like one of those bittersweet moments.
Sure.
The best.
Very cool. Very cool. Jay?
Last Jawn was Deftones with Gojira in Philly.
Nice.
Very, very cool. Where was that at?
It was at the Met.
Oh my God. What a perfect room.
It was great. Yeah. I got COVID there. So,
okay.
I went to this concert and all I got was this lousy COVID.
What a concert that you get COVID at, though, don't you think?
It really does. It really does. What was that like?
It was awesome. Like I like Deftones. I'm not like a huge Deftones fan. But my wife is, and so like it was awesome for her. And it was, I mean, like I listened to them, but I was impressed like of how good they sounded. Like I thought they sounded like a record, you know. And but I was like blown away by Gojira. Gojira was the shit.
Yeah,
they were great. Yeah,
very cool, very cool. Aaron, how about yourself? Last concert?
Well, I don't know. I think this counts because I went to Aladdin on Broadway.
Totally counts.
And I have to say, I've never seen a Broadway show. These people are phenomenal.
I know
they're
on Broadway.
They're so good. They're so good. I was just really kind of blown away at just like the performance of it all. And Aladdin is like, I mean, that was the first movie that I ever owned. I saved up all the money I could from like the couch cushions and stuff when I was little, and bought that on VHS when I was little. And Aladdin was like, that was my jam. And then it was a present to me for my birthday my wife gave me that present to go see Aladdin on Broadway. But then it was canceled, pandemic and all that other stuff. And then it came back and we went, and our tickets were, I guess, still good. And that was pretty cool. I've never seen a on Broadway show, and it was like, this is awesome. Yeah. I've been missing out on this whole part of things. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been into musicals before, but I went and saw Hedwig and the Angry Inch with Neil Patrick Harris.
Wow.
Broadway, and it was like,
that must have been so good.
It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like concert. It's like a concert and a movie all combined. You know, the best musicians, best performance. It was like, I would say that's the best thing I've ever seen live. You know what I mean?
That's cool. And is a perfect lead in for number 5. What was your favorite concert?
I'm gonna go 9 Inch Nails with Aaron in Washington. That was insane. Like right before the pandemic, they decided to play some smaller venues, and I can't remember, what was the name? Was it 930 Club that they were at?
I'm trying to remember. Wasn't it in DC?
No, not 930 Club. That's Baltimore. Yeah, it was in DC, like on the waterfront.
I can't.
I'm spacing down the name of it, but man, we were like right up front.
Man,
it was like so minimal, but like I had seen 9 Inch Nails like a couple times before that, and they're like one of my favorite bands. And I never thought I'd be that close to the band.
Yeah.
And it was so good. It was so good.
That's cool. Jay?
I mean, I could say so many, I think, but I'm just going to pick Red Hot Chili Peppers, 2002 or 2003. It was the By the Way tour. Aaron was with me.
Wait, was that?
Did you go to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all there,
man.
That was the first.
Remember, I was like,
that we all went to.
John, that was a great solo, and he looked at me, and he just smiled, and I was like, you smiled at me.
We were right up front, and bonus opening band Mars Volta, who we'd never seen before.
Yeah, dude, they fucked my mind up.
yeah. He almost hit us with a mic stand. We were so close.
But that's how good they were, because like, did we not go and immediately get their record because we were like, so like, what the fuck would we just see? That was crazy. That was so good.
Yeah. And middle act Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
wow, that's almost like festival worthy. Like that's like a great lineup. Yeah. Aaron, you were at both of their favorites. What was your favorite?
Wow.
Is it Aladdin again?
That was pretty good. I feel like I need to say a different one.
No, you can say whatever. It's fine.
So 9 Inch Nails is definitely by far one of my favorite bands. It's kind of one of those. Sometimes you get into something and then you're like kind of fall out of it, and it's like, you know, like you get into certain bands and then you kind of fall out of it or whatever. But 9 Inch Nails has always been tried and true. And I've always thought, like, before I met my wife, I was like, you know, the person that I want to be with, they need to be like 9 Inch Nails is to me. No matter what, no matter the test of time, I still listen to it and I still love it. Like I can't get sick of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so 9 Inch Nails has got to be the one. Being super close like that was awesome. But it's kind of tied with me with another show that I was also close on 9 Inch Nails. But it's kind of been so long ago. It's like fading in my memory compared to the one we were just at, which was
the one on the Slip tour.
Yeah, that one.
I was up in the stands for that one. Yo, I was up in the stands with a fucking. I don't want to talk about it. I was with the person. Well, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and her friend, and this other guy is a piece of shit, and he's a famous piece of shit, and I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
Let's just leave it at that.
We'll circle back when I stop recording.
One of these days.
Wait, what's yours?
My favorite concert is it's more an experience than it was the music, though the music was incredible. It was Beck. A few years ago when he played at the Exponential Music Festival. It was the first, kind of like the first date almost with my girlfriend. It started, we had lawn seats. It started raining and we just kind of gave into it and just started dancing on every song. And then I shot called all three songs of the encore. Before the show even started, I was like, these are three songs I need to hear. And then, he gets done playing the set and I'm like, all right, so he's probably going to play like one of those songs. And then he did the one and then he started playing the second one. I was like, oh my God, here we go. And then he did the third and I was like, this is the best concert I've ever been to in my life.
That's the best thing. Oh my God.
What were the three?
It was Sex Laws.
Oh, so
great song.
It was Deborah. And
I don't know.
It's on the same record as Sex Laws.
Oh
yeah. Oh my God. Now, Where It's At. I think it was the third.
Oh, amazing.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And then, like I said, like that was the beginning of a long going love of my life. So, you said try to find someone that you love, like you love Nine Inch Nails. I always liked Ryan Adams had this line, not that we're allowed to talk about him anymore, but Ryan Adams had this line that I want to find a girl who loves me the way I love Star Wars. And that's always how I felt. And my girlfriend not only loves me the way I love Star Wars, but also loves Star Wars. So it was like,
that works out.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Beautiful.
It's perfect. Beautiful. Number 6, who you never seen live that you wish you would have?
Oh boy. For me, it's David Bowie. But also like a tie with Prince, because I was trying to get Prince tickets before, because he was doing a bunch of shows up in I think Jersey or New York area. He had like 7 shows in one place. I think he was doing, and then like they were too expensive, so I just was like, I'll get it next time. And then he passed away, and I'm just like, oh my God. And then I kind of feel the same way about David Bowie. It's just like I never got a chance to see him, but he's been such a big part of my life that I'm just like, if I had only got a chance to see him live. Yeah.
So your two answers. Here's your thing. One, my first 2 concerts ever were David Bowie. It was David Bowie on the Sirius Moonlight tour and David Bowie on the Glass Spider tour. And my answer for who have you never seen live is Prince as well. And it's because my parents back in 1984 bought tickets to the Purple Rain tour and bought a ticket for me to go with. It would have been my second concert ever, and then found out what the stage show was like and sold my ticket. So not only did I not see Prince, but I could have seen him. I had a ticket and it got sold. So
where was it? Where was the show at? Was it?
I want to say the Spectrum.
The Spectrum?
Yeah, I think so.
That was pretty close to that legendary show they recorded.
Yes. The one that they just remastered that one. Yeah.
So they must have, that was either like 1 or 2 before or after, I think. So that would have been just the most incredible show. Because that's like, I think, one of the best all-time live captures of a band.
Definitely.
I can't wait to see the remastered version. I haven't seen it yet, but I have seen the stuff that's floating around out there that show.
Very cool. Very cool. Jay, how about yourself? Who have you never seen that you wish you would have?
Those are both great answers. I'm gonna say Beastie Boys though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, that was one that I definitely could have. Like they were around enough. Before MCA died, but that would have been so. Yeah, definitely kicking myself that I didn't put forth the effort. You know what I mean? To go.
Yep. Definitely, Aaron.
I would say I would have loved the ability and opportunity to see like either Queen or Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be great.
Definitely. I don't know if you just saw, I didn't read the full article yet, but it was either today or yesterday. I heard that they kind of found an old recording that they had never released with Freddie vocals on it. And they're planning on releasing that either this summer or this fall or something like that. So,
oh wow, that's crazy!
If anything can fix the world, it's that song,
right? Seriously,
100% believe that.
Seriously, that Live Aid performance is just like it's unbelievable. I don't know that I've ever seen a live performance where someone has had the entire audience in his hand like that. Like
anybody that came after is just imitating that. I think that was such a moment.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Number 7, name an unappreciated Jawn. Name something you wish had a little more shine to it.
Oh no. America? Does that count?
It can count.
Okay. All right. That's my answer.
I'll accept it. Jay, what do you got?
I'm gonna call back to the Apex Theory.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if enough people know that band, and every once in a while, you know, like every maybe 3 or 4 years, somebody will see us at a show and be like, Apex Theory, and we're like, yes.
Yeah,
so,
one
rare, but it happens every once in a while. We're like, you guys like Apex Theory? We're like, yeah, totally.
It's the best. It's like when someone knows the secret handshake, is like, oh, you got it. You know. Yeah. I dig it. Aaron, how about yourself?
I mean, over the years we played with so many different bands, and there's just so many local bands in all kinds of places that are just amazing. And they don't really get the recognition for it. And these bands can be they should be you see these performances from local musicians that are just so amazing, and you're just these people should be on the stage in front of all these doing all these things. And then it's just that there's a lot of bands. So just tons of them, just tons of local bands that just kind of never really got that. They just have such captivating talent, and you can see it when you're in this little venue in this intimate setting, and they're just really touch you. And there's those moments where you just see that and you're just
Jealousy Curve.
Yeah,
the best fucking band that should have been the biggest band in the country. From Philly.
That's good.
Yeah. I remember seeing them back when I used to not be old, and I used to be able to go out and see shows, and they never disappointed, man. Never disappointed.
So good. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I was talking about the band America, not the country.
I assumed.
Highway and all that.
Really?
I assumed.
What do you think?
Yeah, I really thought can you elaborate on that? Let's move on.
Yeah, I realized that once we kind of scooch past it, that I was like, oh, I think I'm talking about.
I totally did.
Okay, that's fine.
Totally did.
That's fine.
No, I assumed because of the soft yachty
yes!
kind of.
I love yacht rock, man.
Yeah, I knew where you were coming from.
He gets it. He gets you. He gets you, man.
Well, this is more for the listeners that'll be hearing this. They'll be like, oh, he's just. Oh yeah.
Wait, can we go back to? So, is there anyone that's sticks out in your head right now? No shade to anybody that we forget to mention here, of course, because
I remember we played in Boston, and there's this band Flutter Effect that we played. Oh yeah. And they were just they had this one song, I think it was called Tarantula or something like that.
That's what it was.
And I remember listening to it and just being this is awesome. It's just mind-blowingly good. And
they had an electric marimba.
Really?
Yeah. Imagine moving that in and out on a load in for a show.
Yeah, they were a rock band with an electric marimba, and I think they had a couple different singers, maybe a cello. Yeah, it was
an upright bass. Maybe?
Yeah, big shout out to Flutter Effect though. That's a deep cut. It's a really good one.
That's awesome. I'm a deep diver on the internet. My buddy calls me Dexter. I don't know if you remember, Dexter, but I'm gonna try to find them, and I want to hear some of this.
Awesome.
The number 8. What's your favorite album?
Oh boy, can I go last on this one?
That's a very tough one, but I'm just gonna pull whatever pops into my head first, and I'm gonna say Evil Empire.
Oh, it's a good one. Very good one.
That is true.
That is true.
That is the true.
I'm gonna say Incubus Science album. I think it's the most influential for me when I was starting on bass and stuff. So,
jeez, see, my brain's doing this thing where there's it's like, well, you should say this because it's cooler sounding if you say this, but in reality, in my heart of hearts, I'm like, probably the Nine Inch Nails, probably Fragile, probably that one.
Yeah, brilliant.
That one's such a good album. I can listen to it forever.
There are no wrong answers.
Yeah.
Number 9, name an artist whose output you'll consume anything they put out, even if you have to be apologetic for it.
What do you mean if you have to be apologetic for it? I called somebody out on this in an episode, and then they completely showed me the error of my ways. But I use Bob Dylan as an example, where I have friends who will pretend that bad Bob Dylan is still good. So that's kind of where I come from with the, even if you have to. So even if it's bad, you still love it just because you love the artist so much?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say Steely Dan, Katie Lied.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love that record. Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece of a record.
I love it, Jay.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That might be all my favorite music.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Busta Rhymes, Extinction Level Event.
Busta Rhymes. Yes. Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Good one. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
My favorite thing about Busta Rhymes, and I feel like he's highly underrated for it, is his ability to do what he does on anybody's style and anybody's track. He is just so incredibly versatile that it's incredible and versatile while still being Busta Rhymes. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to change his thing, but he can make his thing fit on anything you got.
Yeah. His first 3 albums, The Coming, When Disaster Strikes, Extinction Level Event, those make up for whatever else came after it that I don't haven't been listening to. So that's a great answer. Thank you for the hint on that one.
No
Definitely. Aaron, what do you got?
Aladdin soundtrack.
You're saying that you would listen to anything that they did regardless of how bad it is.
You celebrate them regardless.
I'm gonna have to say the Beatles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely.
They're not all hits. They didn't. Not everything they made was hits, but you know what?
Yeah, it's only 60 to 70%.
Yeah,
it's only 60 to 70%, which is they tried. They tried. They're pretty amazing, and even when they're bad, I totally love them anyway.
Just out of curiosity, what's a clunker of a Beatles song?
There's a playlist that someone made, and I forget who made it. And it was I think it was fan voted or something like that. But it's a playlist of what everyone voted on being the worst song on each Beatles album.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you what, it's still a great fucking playlist. I'll put that playlist up against some people's, greatest hits. It's still pretty good. But what's amazing about the Beatles is they did that in 10 years. That was a 10-year period, and they just changed music and all over the place. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
And they've just been riding high off that ever since.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What have you done for me lately?
Wings was pretty cool. Wings had some good stuff. A couple tunes.
We did this whole thing about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions, and it was this was like 2 years ago, or maybe last year. I can't remember time. Flat circle. But we were talking about the Foo Fighters getting inducted because it pushed me over the edge. I was like, if we're inducting the Foo Fighters, then anybody who has good music can go in. I guess I don't know. Like there's no, and that's not against the Foo Fighters. Like I said, the Foo Fighters are like the line to me, right? Like they're like a great band, like and to me, like the anybody in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame should be like above the line, but they're like the best average. Like if I was like, hey, what's a good rock? The Foo Fighters, what did someone say? They're the Jim Belushi of music, but anyway, so I made this joke that the Foo Fighters are Wings, because following Nirvana's Small Little Tiny Thing, then a little side project that blows up. That was a long way to just say that Wings is cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, I really when you talk about like the Hall of Fame or whatever, you want somebody that like changed the game, right?
Right.
Like really made a huge impact. So yeah,
I'm just also still bitter that the Monkees aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's really where all that comes from. They are not, and they never will be, unfortunately, because Jan Werner from Rolling Stone just refuses to even allow it to go to vote. Is from what I understand.
What a shame.
Yeah.
They were a big influence on the Beatles.
John Lennon called them the Marx Brothers of music, man.
That was a line from Dumb and Dumber, I think.
Oh. They were great. They're a big influence on me, to be honest.
Monkeys were definitely playing in my house when I was a kid.
We had the vinyl, sure. And I would put it on while I was in the basement doing whatever nonsense I was doing down there.
I know all those songs. Yeah,
they got some bops. The 10th and final of the top 10 countdown. What is your favorite Jawn of all time? Again, doesn't have to be music. You can make it be whatever you want it to be.
I feel like we need to leave on a high note here.
Go with some class, for God's sake.
Or completely not classy. I'm gonna say the unwavering human spirit in the face of difficulty.
Wow, I love that. And it's been tested, hasn't it? I feel like
somehow people still keep getting up every morning, and people still keep having kids for some reason, and I don't know why. Sorry, guys. I'm just a real pessimist in general. But it still happens, and it's good. It's good. It needs to happen.
I want to say sushi.
Sushi.
Oh, perfect answer. God, we have a sushi place right around the corner from our house, and it's like the best sushi I've ever had in my life. And I'm so we try to not eat there a lot, just to not ruin just how amazing it is. Like we'll go get like bullshit sushi or like giant sushi sometimes, just to kind of reiterate how importantly beautiful this place near us is. So.
Yeah, just to reset the expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it the rice? Is it the rice that's so good?
The rice, I mean, like their rolls are so tight and they stay together. Oh man, it's just and the stuff that they fry is like just super crunchy. The spicy grill. That's the
do you want to tell everybody who it is, or are you trying to keep it on the DL?
It's a secret. I can't.
I just tell me.
No, I'm just kidding. It's East Cuisine in Ambler, and they're phenomenal. And hopefully they'll give me a discount for that plug.
Nice.
Aaron, favorite Jawn of all time?
Well, people don't know this about me, but I'm a huge tea drinker. I drink tea every day. I drink multiple things of tea, and Bengal Spice is my favorite of the teas.
I've never had that.
It's good. You gotta check it out. Bengal Spice.
Bengal Spice, is it a black tea or is it a?
It's not a black tea.
Herbal blend.
It's an herbal blend. It has a little spice to it. It's really good though.
Sounds familiar. It sounds phenomenal. Like I'm definitely going to check that. I'm a at least one cup of hot tea a day guy. So I will definitely.
We're on the same page then. You got to
protect this. Got to protect this. You know what I mean?
Is the moneymaker right here?
That's right. So if anybody listening to this would like to find you guys like on the social media or in the internet, what's the best way to track you guys down?
It's Phantasm Band, right? I think that's our handle on most of the stuff. Instagram, that's our website, is phantasmband.com. Those are the main ones. I mean, like we're on Facebook and stuff. So it's on there.
Yeah. Awesome. And the single Spirit Box Tuned Into You is out now, Future Past. And I implore everyone to definitely go check it out. And then we were kind of talking about this shadow work in July, right? Will be out. Is that what we decided on?
Yep. It
Very cool.
Will be out.
Very cool, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. Any parting last words for the folks at home?
Well, thank you so much for having us, man. I really enjoyed it.
This is a really nice talk.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I told you, I like to hang with people, and this is
all interviews going to be like this, guys. I don't know. We have a bunch lined up. I hope they're all as good as this one. This was a lot of fun.
It's awesome.
I love your background too. Yeah. I don't know if people at home ever get to see it or not, or that listen to it, but
if they jump on the YouTube, I got some live streams and some stuff like that. It makes an appearance. This was I DJ on the side, and I was going to start doing photo booth stuff, and then a global pandemic hit. So then I repurposed everything to be the background of the podcast. So.
Nice. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you gotta
lemonades. You find a new god.
It's so true. Well, gentlemen, thank you again for doing this. And as I said, everyone, please check out Phantasm, and thank you again.
My many thanks again to Steve, Jay, and Aaron for joining me on the show today. Phantasm's newest album, Shadow Work, can be found on all of the major music streaming sites and on their Bandcamp page at phantasm.bandcamp.com. You can follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/phantasmband and on Twitter at Instant Phantasm. Links to all of those are included in the show notes to this episode. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. And I know you are dying to know how you can earn yourself a super awesome Jawn Scout merit badge for citizenship of the world. Well, you can do just that by rating and reviewing us. Don't forget to visit www.yothat'smyjawn.com for articles, merchandise, and links to all of the previous episodes of this podcast. And while you are there, be sure to sign up for our mailing list to get all of the updates delivered straight to your inbox. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YoThat'sMyJawn for updates and live streams. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Yo That's My Jawn, and search Yo That's My Jawn on YouTube to find the Yo That's My Jawn YouTube channel. Like and subscribe the heck out of that ish. We want to hear from you. Reach out, and touch some Jawn. Thanks again for joining me, y'all. Join me next episode where my guests will be the Tisberries. It is a rockin' good time, and I hope you give her a listen. Blue skies. Until next time, everybody.
Hey yo, displace the guilt and embrace the pleasure. Your taste in music doesn't have to be.
Yo, That's My Jawn is a Lonely Monk production, written and produced by yours truly, Nate Runkle. Theme song by Phil Tyler Music featuring Nate 3.0. Special thanks to Fox Run Brands, DX Ferris, Andrew Scott, Natalie Runkle, and the incredibly brilliant and wickedly stunning Katie Daubney. If you or anyone you know has any ideas they would like to share or any guests they would like to hear on the podcast, please feel free to reach out to us at yothat'smyjawn@gmail.com. Or you can leave an audio message for us and possibly hear yourself on a future episode by visiting anchor.fm/YTMJ/message. Until next time, be sure to displace the guilt and embrace the pleasure and shout to the world, yo, that's my Jawn.